You are on camera.
B-roll here.
Say.
He's here, he's going to shoot a little bit of Tony. Tony's like, you got to come and film me. When he shows up, do you know Charlie?
No hurry, Tony. We got it. We got this. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to do a walkthrough. Slow, stop. Tell me, Tony, about this painting, if you would.
Well, this is a really nice one, very special one. It's very sweet. It took Andy back to his youth, or early period of doing very simple trees, like a landscape artist. That's his sort of rendering, encouraged by Jean-Michel, in color as well. Usually you do that in black and white. Rarely does it in color. And then of course the correlation between what Jean-Michel adds to it is very soft and very collaborative in a fun way, young way, you know.
Tessa, I'm sort of curious why you picked up this painting as something that you might want to talk about.
Well, the answer to that is sort of simple in that I don't eat eggs at all.
Also, it's interesting, like Warhol probably painted the eggs, but Basquiat wrote eggs and depicts the eggs.
Right.
Quite conceptual, like, you know, Kossuth.
Yeah. No? Can we go, please? Let's go. Let's go next floor.
No.
Sean is here too. Oh, great. Hi. Soyan Kim is here. You know Soyan?
My friend said,
Yeah, great. Oh, George, you look great. Oh, I'm fine. Hi. How are you?
That Warhol mentioned in his diaries. And in his diaries he mentioned it by Jean-Michel and I, we are doing a masterpiece, an African masterpiece. It's 12 foot long and it's probably the longest that we ever done.
Come in here. Come on. 1, 2, 3.
So,
you just want me to talk?
yeah.
First of all Warhol's wonderful bow ties multiplied, again showing that he's using repetition. And then you have this beautiful power head face mask, almost central on the canvas.
This is important because this is the first painting Jean-Michel having met Warhol and Warhol having taken the first Polaroids of him very quickly. And so somebody else took a picture of Andy with Jean-Michel, and Andy was standing behind Jean-Michel, Jean-Michel a little closer. So yet he got Andy exactly right, with no preparation. He absolutely, literally in 20 minutes this was made, and half an hour already walked all the way to 18 blocks while it was wet, and while he made a cartoon of himself. Andy is very realistic, almost like de Kooning, but even better, see? Cartoon-like, but very straight. This is what led to their major friendship. Andy, in his own style, did that portrait of Jean-Michel, which is all Polaroid. The pose that Jean-Michel has with a jockstrap on is like David, exactly. Andy Warhol doing it his own way, very clearly, almost like a negative. Meanwhile, here is the painting of, so it's Andy with weightlifts and barbells, different exercises he was doing. And as a result, Jean-Michel started doing that with him for over a year and a half. They exercised together. And that led to the collaboration paintings.
What are the dates of these two paintings?
What dates?
Yes.
It would be 1983, 84.
Let's just say we are shooting.
We're shooting, okay. It's basically Andy Warhol doing the socialite at 5th Avenue Death Leap. You see that? That's from a newspaper headline. The line is very straight. Andy did that. The lettering very clear. See that? The clear, almost finished Andy Warhol painting. And you know, the whole elemental part of how you make a painting, liberated, Andy's allowing him to do that over his paintings.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody thought about it. The guy at 50 years old at the time, and Jean was only 21 years old, 22 years old, to do that. You know, and yet the whole art world came down on it. All the critics, all the reviewers, all the artists, down, negative, spreading rumors and bullshit about them, what I mentioned to you. And so it almost broke up their friendship. 8 months later, Jean-Michel came to me crying his eyes out, and then he died. This period, at this stage, Warhol has gone back to his origin, which is using simple graphics from newspaper headlines. In this case, it was basically subway, fires. So even the subway, parts of the lettering is painted white by Jean-Michel. So it's S-B-W-Y. I is gone already, F-R-E. Jean-Michel used to say he likes to paint over words because it makes you work to guess what is the word. Yes. Even Andy Warhol is painting over his own painting, but then Jean-Michel comes to, partly illustrate that with people lying around, for example, but also the great mask over there, which is wonderful.
I just want to get a larger image.
My guess is they painted the hand first. Arm and Hammer, which is a famous, you know what that is?
Yes.
Then he starts to do the logo, the red logo, for example. And then comes, on top of that, what do we have here? C-P-S, that's cops from headline. That's the third element of Andy Warhol, newspaper headline. Cops, something, G-A, what? So gay. So something gay. Cops, something gay, H-R-A-N. So you have to guess what that is. Okay?
Guy?
This is what?
Could be Guy.
Maybe, whatever it is. So Jean-Michel's painted out. You see the A? He's painted out.
Oh, gay, you're right. You're right.
This is what Jean-Michel's all about, all this painting. It was about covering your fucking words so you can guess what's underneath it. It makes you work.
Yes.
The audience looking at fucking artists, you have to work at it in order to appreciate it.
Yes.
To understand it.
Yes.
It's a union of activity. It can't be just there for you. Idiocy that we have no ignorance. You've got to participate in the work. You're alive, becoming alive.
Thank you.
So consequently, by doing that, you have to guess. So meanwhile, you replace with a king. Cops become something else. And the snake come in there. So this is just a collaboration of making a painting into something else already. And Warhol, admiring that characteristic in Jean-Michel, a young man, so confident, so wonderful to do that playfulness, he recognized it and he brought it into his own world. He allowed him to paint over his own painting, the most important artist of the 20th century practically. So this is Jean-Michel.
No, don't start yet. Don't start yet.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is 87, after about a year, something after the show we did. Andy Warhol went to Milan to visit the group of paintings he'd been working on last, which is The Last Supper, Christ in the middle. He went actually to view the original Last Supper, which was in Milan, so getting ready to show his own near it. He came back to New York, had to go to the hospital, and out of neglect, sadly, he died. And here's Mr. Peter Brandt walking in. Peter, come. This is a gentleman who's made all this possible. Shoot him, please.
Richard.
So, good to see you. Peter, this is Charlie Ahearn.
Hello.
Charlie. Wonderful. So, Mr. Brandt, who did all this remarkable exhibition and the program of the foundation.
Thank you.
And so we've gone through most of the paintings, Peter. And this last one is when Andy died. Sadly, Jean-Michel, the friendship already resolved, sadly. And Jean-Michel did this, build it up, just pieces of wood, door, etc., glued together, which is basically his reference to grave. If you can see, he's got listen, so he's got a skull there with a cross, a flower, and perishable written a few times, cancelled out. Because no one knew until Andy died that for a number of years before he died, every Sunday he would go to, I think, Harlem or somewhere uptown, where he'd be working at church and giving soup and various food to people. He was always committed to that kind of a private.
Warhol
was, yes, instead of religiosity, helping others, saying to have recognized something in a young black artist, so young, he could have been his grandson, to come and not only work with him in the studio, but paint over his paintings, and many times saying that if you read the books, that Jean-Michel was so much better than he was.
They don't want...
Quiet, please.